Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BlackTideTV. In today's video, I have a very special episode of Epic Variant Reviews for you. I was originally scheduled to do the Wrecked today, that would be the Epic variant of the R3K, but it seems the universe had different plans. Yesterday, December 6, 2016, we got our very first big Quartermaster update, which included 3 new Epic variants, one of which you're seeing in today's gameplay, and what we'll be talking about today just seemed amazing to me. I was excited as hell for this weapon, the return of the P06 from Black Ops 3, the EBR-800 Bomber. Now in this episode, I'm actually going to be introducing something brand new to the series, where I'll be showing you some visual changes of the weapons, and because I want to leave this episode, I want to leave you guys at the end of this episode on a high note, let you guys know how cool this weapon really is, and I want you guys to leave this episode going, damn, that's a really cool weapon. We're not going to talk about the visual changes at the end, we're going to get them done right away. So let's take a look at the standard EBR-800, I'll throw it up on the screen for you. There it is, nothing too special, nothing too beautiful, very plastic built. It's got some wiring harnesses kind of falling off the front, it's got a bipod, and pay special attention to the scope, and also look down here where it says semi-automatic and automatic. Now, when I talk about this weapon a little bit later in the episode, you're going to notice something different. Well, first off, I'm going to show you a picture of the EBR-800 Bomber, and you're instantly going to notice something different about this section, and it's something that I had to debunk for myself by getting into the game, and it's something that a lot of you might be confused about. It was something I was certainly confused about this at the beginning, how this says it's semi-automatic and automatic. The Bomber, as you'll see in just a moment, actually only says that it's 3-round burst, which isn't true. You'll find out in just a moment. But let's actually head over and take a look at the EBR-800 Bomber and see the difference between these two weapons. So the EBR-800 Bomber, it has this nice wood grain, this polished wood at the back. It's got a cover that actually covers up all that stupid wiring harness that's falling out all over the ground. And it removes the bipod. It also changes the scope to a nice big square scope. And honestly, when I'm just looking at this weapon, it reminds me a lot of the Maverick A2 sniper rifle from Call of Duty Ghosts. If you remember that weapon, it was a DLC weapon. It came out alongside the Maverick assault rifle. It was kind of like the same weapon, but it was sort of like a hybrid. One part of it was assault rifle, one part of it was a sniper rifle, but you had to pick one or the other. You couldn't just switch between. It was a very strange weapon, very strange times in Call of Duty, but this weapon does look a lot like the Maverick A2 sniper rifle. However, when you actually use it in-game, it's a lot like the P06 from Black Ops 3. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at the optics on this weapon. So the standard scope of the EBR-800 is not that useful, it's not that unique. You can really put any other sight on there. You can change your default scope reticle, you can put on any other scope, and it won't really impact you that much. The EBR-800 Bomber, on the other hand, has a very unique scope that you're not going to want to change. I highly advise that you stay away from any optics on this weapon because the optic that comes on it is just so special. It's actually a mobile optic, just like the P06, where when you charge up your shot, as this is also a 3-round charged burst, when you charge up your shot, the scope will actually move, so you can tell when your shot is almost charged and when it is completely charged and when you're about to fire. It's very helpful for getting your targets on point while you're charging this weapon. It's just a very, very unique scope, and it's really good looking too. I love the colors of it. I love how open it is and clean it is. It's just a great scope, and I highly advise that you stick with it. Now, one other thing I should mention is that the iron sights from the assault rifle version of this weapon, or the assault rifle hybrid of this weapon, have been changed with the EBR-800 Bomber a little tiny bit. So I'll show you the EBR-800 standard iron sights for the assault rifle. It's got a red dot and 3 little tickies around that little circle. So you've got a tickie on the left, a tickie on the right, and a tickie on the top. Whereas the EBR-800 Bomber has 4 tickies. It's got a tickie on the bottom as well, and it has an orange dot, where I'm not really sure if that orange dot is going to blend into the environment any more than the red dot, but I'm just pointing that out just because it is something that's a little bit different. Okay, now that we've had our salad, it's time to jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode. We're talking about the traits on this weapon, the very, very unique traits. This is probably one of the coolest epic variants in the game. First trait that we have here, the epic trait, is called Triad. Charged 3-shot sniper burst. Welcome to the P06 2.0, everybody. This is the trait that we'll be spending the rest of this episode on, so let's get the other trait out of the way right now because it's really not that impactful in this weapon. So the common trait is, of course, presence of mind, which is infinite hold breath duration. Now let's talk about that triad charge 3-shot burst. A godsend for this weapon. The EBR is one of the weaker sniper rifles in this game. It's got the semi-automatic potential and it can fire fairly quickly, but it has a ton of recoil and you're going to get many more hit markers with this weapon than you generally get with, say, the KBS longbow. So this is one of the weaker sniper rifles in the game, and this is so beneficial. This makes this weapon at least 10 times better. The charged 3-round burst is super easy to control. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, just like the PO6 from Black Ops 3. You couldn't just alternate between the PO6 and the Locust on a dime. You kind of had to get used to one or the other because they were very different. Same thing goes here. This is a very different sniper rifle, and you're going to have to take some time and get used to it. That's why some of the gameplay that you're seeing here is a little wonky, and I'm kind of missing some shots here and there. It's because I'm so used to trying to use the TF141 and get my one-shot kills and stuff, whereas this, I don't have to be that careful. I can just spam a 3-round burst across somebody. The 3-round burst is a pretty fast-firing 3-round burst. It's very accurate. You can get multiple shots on a single enemy without much difficulty, and it charges very fast. It charges just as fast as the PO6 did in Black Ops 3. It's nothing that's going to hinder you at all. You're not going to have to wait for a charge time. It's just going to charge and fire. It's, again, like the PO6. There's no charge and hold. The second this weapon is fully charged up, it will fire. Now, adding on to that, though, and this is where this weapon gets a little interesting because it doesn't say anything about this, this weapon is a auto burst weapon. If you remember those from Black Ops 3, they were burst fire weapons where all you had to do was hold down the trigger and it would automatically cycle through bursts. Same thing here. You don't have to you don't have to fire again. You can just hold down the trigger and you will fire multiple bursts at a time. So you will shoot off your bursts at as fast a rate as they can fire off just by holding down the trigger, which is pretty crazy to think that you need a full auto burst fire sniper rifle. It's kind of crazy considering no damage reduction on this weapon. There's nothing crazy going on there. There's no damage or range reduction. You're not losing anything for putting on this 3-round burst, which is really cool because this weapon can already get a one-shot kill. The standard default EBR-800 can get a one-shot one kill, and it can get a one-shot one kill fairly decently. If you get a chest shot, you'll probably get a one-shot one kill with EBR-800, and now you can get 3 shots on an enemy at once. So if you even hit somebody in the kneecap, it's going to bounce up as you fire, and you're going to get a kill with this thing no matter what. So generally, this weapon is a guaranteed kill as long as you have the accuracy to put your shots anywhere on an enemy's body. While we're on the topic of statistics for this weapon, I'd like to come back to what I mentioned briefly earlier, in that the assault rifle version of this weapon, when you toggle off to the assault rifle version of this weapon, nothing has changed. Even though in the card it only says that it is a 3-round burst weapon, the assault rifle is not a 3-round burst weapon. It is still fully automatic. There is nothing changed in the assault rifle version of this weapon, apart from that little tiny extra ticky and an orange dot instead of a red dot in the iron sight. Nothing else has changed for the assault rifle version of this weapon. It's still fully automatic. No damage difference, no range difference, and if there is any shortcoming of this weapon, it is that the assault rifle has not changed at all. The assault rifle was not really that great in the default EBR-800. It was like a 6-shot kill most of the time. It's just not a very powerful assault rifle, which it makes sense that it shouldn't be that powerful because it is kind of balancing it is part of a sniper rifle, and it is sort of a balancing factor that you can't really have an OP assault rifle and an OP sniper rifle kind of built together, and that would be the case. If this was a 3-round burst assault rifle as well, built into a 3-round burst sniper rifle, then you're getting kind of crazy. It would be very powerful, and it makes sense that they left it alone, but it is the one shortcoming of this weapon. One really big positive of this weapon that I should also mention before we wrap up today is that there is no ammunition penalty for using the sniper rifle part of this weapon. For the original EBR-800, when you use the sniper rifle, it actually divides your ammo count by 5. Instead of having 30 rounds in the magazine, you now have 6. Not the case for the Bomber. When you use the Bomber, you get a full magazine. You get to keep all of your reserve ammo. You keep all of the magazine size. So that means you can fire off 10 bursts, 10 auto bursts with this weapon before you have to reload. And of course, it being an energy weapon, it automatically refills the magazine as you're firing from your reserve ammo. So essentially, you are never going to reload this weapon. Never. You do not have to worry about reloading this weapon ever. It's crazy. It's awesome. You don't have to worry about running out of ammo because you're going to have a ton of ammo when you're doing these 3-round bursts. You're going to get a single kill, easily a kill for every single burst as long as you get your accuracy on point. Especially when you get used to this weapon, it's a kill per burst. And you have 10 bursts in a magazine, and you have countless reserve bursts. You're going to be killing people for days with this thing. It sucks that this weapon doesn't have a nuclear trait because you'd easily get a deatomizer with it with the amount of ammo that you have. So, final impressions of this weapon. Is it worth 4,000 salvage? Oh my god, yes. This is the best EBR variant in the game, hands down. I have them all except for the Osiris. I don't even need to unlock the Osiris to tell you that this is the best EBR variant in the game. It makes using the sniper rifle a billion times easier. It's just so useful using that 3-round auto burst. It's so easy to control. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, my god, well, you're a god. It's just crazy powerful. I highly, highly recommend that you unlock this weapon or you seek it out in supply drops. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe for more daily gaming goodness, and I'll see you guys on the next one.